Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This speed build is from a stream that I did the other day with my friend Roxie, where we generated build challenges for each other using Plumbella's random build generator. I'll link Roxie's channel and Twitch in the description, so be sure to go check her out. So the challenge that Roxie gave me was this. The building style of the house was Queen Anne Victorian, the color theme was warm toned, it needed to have 1 floor and 4 rooms, with a budget of exactly 48,004 simoleons. It needed to house 2 Sims, and had to feature my first pet stuff prominently, and it needed to include a wishing well and a toddler or infant space. So first off, you'll notice probably that I just completely missed the warm tones part of this for a majority of the build. I was looking up reference photos and I saw this really cool blue house that had a door in the front that really looked like the Realm of Magic door, and I was obsessed. So I kind of had blue on the mind, and it wasn't until halfway through the build when I was like, oh, warm tones. So bear with me on that. But yeah, so when I was looking at Queen Anne Victorian style houses, I saw a lot of buildings that looked like the Realm of Magic architecture. So I kind of was like, well, let's just make a little witchy house. With some Victorian elements, it would have been great to use some stuff from the Life and Death pack, but that was not out yet. So I made do with what I had. Honestly, I know Realm of Magic gets a lot of flack, and I think part of that has to do with people not liking the EA builds that came with the pack, and that's pretty fair. But the build items, the gameplay, I love that pack. So I was really excited to have an excuse to use a lot of the items from this again. They don't always make sense in a normal standard suburbia house, but they made sense in this build. I also tried to make the roofs a bit more interesting than usual. So the main roof is curved in 3 different points. If you do, I think it's Shift S or Shift C, I always forget. You can get more points with which to curve your roofs, which is pretty fun. And then on that side corner piece, I have it jut out a bit lower than the other roofs to kind of give the illusion of 2-story, because a lot of the inspiration I was finding online was 2-story, but I was limited to only 1 story because of the challenge. So this was my workaround. And I will say, this is one of the better roof lines I've done. I usually struggle with that quite a bit, and I did struggle with it here, but I think it worked. So here you can see I'm working on the front porch. I really wanted to have that Realm of Magic archway at the top of the stairs, but the Sims won't let you put a door right at the top of the stairs, which I guess makes sense. The archways are technically classified as doors, and it wouldn't make sense to have the door at the top of the stairs like that, but it would have been so cool. So I had to set it a tile back, and I made kind of an enclosed porch space. It doesn't count as a room, by the way. I only was allowed to have 4 rooms. This doesn't count as a room because technically it's fences, not walls. But yeah, the porch was part of my effort to make the general shape of the build a bit more interesting as well, not just box. So I was about to start doing the interior when I realized I didn't have any windows. I do that all the time. I'll make a shell, I'll be so proud of it, and then I start furnishing, and then I'm like, oh, we have no natural light in here. That's bad. So I remembered to put in windows this time, as well as doors between the room and stuff, because you kind of need to decide how your Sims are going to get around the house before you start furnishing it. Otherwise, you are absolutely going to wind up with a bedroom where you have furniture on all 4 walls and your Sim can't get in. So at this point, maybe I should explain what I've chosen my 4 rooms to be. One of them obviously is a toddler room because that's one of the requirements of the challenge. The other one is the room for the parent. There was already a Sim living on this lot when I decided to use it. So I kind of envisioned him as a single parent, so it's his room. And then I have a bathroom, and the remaining room is a big joint kitchen, living room, dining space. It's a bit of a stretch to call it 1 room, but again, technically 1 room. The challenge also required that I use a lot of my first pet stuff, which I think actually goes kind of well with the whole toddler theme, so I started picking out items from the pack that I could use in the toddler room. There's some stuff I really like from this pack, I love the rug, I love the frog swatch especially, and I love the decal that goes on the wall that's a height chart. Those items are great, I use them in my regular builds, very good items. But then there's this hamster chair of death. It did not have any good swatches. They all made me scared and terrified. My chat said it looked like taxidermy, and I agree. Why is this chair here? But we used it. We're prominently featuring my first pet stuff, and actually we end up using my first pet stuff in places outside the toddler room, which I'm pretty proud of, but it's definitely most prominently featured here. That was a long rant about the hamster. In the meantime, we started the bathroom, and I remembered about the warm toned color scheme finally, so we went and redid the outside. This is maybe a good time to point out that I used some really expensive stuff in the bathroom. Technically, the bathroom set from Get Famous counts as Queen Anne Victorian in the game, so I decided to use it. I thought that we had a pretty big budget, so I wanted to waste some money. We ended up needing that money later, so don't get too attached to the golden toilet. So now I started working in the living room. Roxie had a fantastic idea to do kind of a sunken conversation pit, and then I used platforms like a staircase to get down there. I thought it would look so groovy movie with the bay window couch from My First Pet stuff, the little side couch from My First Pet stuff, the aquarium table from My First Pet stuff, the little side table from My First Pet stuff. We featured it prominently, okay? Honestly, that table's pretty cool. I almost never use it because it's just an odd style, but I didn't realize the fish inside of it actually move. It's a live aquarium table. I did not know that. I thought it was like plastic or something. So that was a surprise when I entered live mode and the fishes started swimming. For the color scheme in this room, I went with a very dark red with orange accents kind of vibe. Kind of the intersection between spooky Victorian with sort of the 70s vibe the conversation pit gets, plus the warm tones that we needed for the challenge. It's a mood, honestly. And then chat reminded me we have a toddler, so I should maybe set up a fence so the toddler doesn't fall into the conversation pit or something. Unfortunately, you can't put fences on the edge of platforms like that though. I didn't realize that, but you can do half walls. So I did a really tiny half wall, and then the sort of fence half wall topper from Dine Out, which looks really good actually. Unfortunately, it seems to glitch a lot. Like half the time when I enter build mode and then come back out, the half wall topper is just gone or changed to a different one, or like if I reload the game that happens, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But anyway, moving on to the kitchen, I used the Vampires counter set. I don't usually use it. It doesn't have very many swatches, so it can't go very many places, but it worked here. And then chat had the idea to make the ceiling look like asbestos using carpet, and I don't know why, but I found that so funny. So we added carpet to all of the ceilings except for over the platforms because for some reason we couldn't do that. And it's such a small detail that you probably won't notice unless you're looking for it, but I'm glad we added it. So that's the kitchen finished up with all of the appliances and upper cabinets. We used the icebox refrigerator to really go with the theme. And then it was time to do the toddler room. At this point I had all the items I wanted to use, but I wasn't really sure how to lay them out in a way that made sense and made the room still navigatable. And I was messing around with it when I hit inspiration gold. A canopy bed for the toddler. Now I know that there's one in the Life and Death pack, but again, this was before that. And I know that there's some stuff similar in like eco lifestyle and werewolves. I really thought we could go grander than that. I thought we could go full custom with floor length curtains. I thought that'd be so cool. I've done something similar before for adult sized Sims, so I know it's functional, at least for adults. But don't worry, I went and checked. It's functional for toddlers too, and it's so cute. Then I also added these little dolls. They're from Nifty Knitting, but they're modeled after the playable characters in the Unraveled series. I love Unraveled 2. They're kind of different, the first game to the second game. The first game is like single player puzzler, but the second game is a co-op puzzler, and it's so much fun. It's one of my favorite games. So I love these little dolls. I always forget them because they're in debug, but fortunately I had debug on this time, so I knew I needed to add them. The last touch is the little mobile from the nursery kit that came out recently. It's super cute with a tiny little Bella Goth in it. I love it. Next up is the dad's bedroom. I kind of wanted to go vampire-y, gothy. I mean, we're not surprised. That's what the whole video has been. Here's where we ran into issues though. So remember how I said that I bought the really expensive Get Famous toilet and stuff earlier? Well, we were running out of money, especially since I wanted to make this room a combo bedroom and study, and I wanted to use the Crystal Creation bookcases. I ended up not using them because they didn't fit, but I didn't know that when I was running out of money. I just knew I wanted these expensive bookcases and I could not afford them. So I went through and I sold the Get Famous bathroom set, replaced it with something cheaper so that I could use that money for the study that I wanted. Because what point is a gothic manor if you don't have places for old creepy books? So you can see me going back and forth with a couple of different types of bookcases. I was debating between the Crystal Creations bookcases, like I said, or the Book Nook bookcases. Ultimately, I went with the Book Nook bookcases because they could go all the way to the ceiling and I really liked how that looked. And then I filled it in with little knickknacks from the clutter kit. Then I added a dresser from high school years, a little reading nook for our little study using the rocking chair from the nursery kit, and that was pretty much the main bedroom done. Now all that was left was the wishing well. Now I had placed it earlier because I wanted to make sure that we could afford it, and I decided to use our remaining budget to do all the landscaping around it. I'm still not the best at landscaping, and honestly in a lot of my builds, I just don't do it. And maybe someday I'll get better at that. One might even say today is that day. My approach to this landscaping was just use all the plants and all of the flowers and try and overlay them in interesting ways. Adding some trees for some variance to kind of give like a canopy over the wishing well. And I'm pretty proud of it. Like, is it the best landscaping ever? Yes it is, thank you. I'm not that egotistical. It's fine. It gets the job done. It gives it a nice whimsical look, and I added little alien flowers, which I think are pretty cool. So with that all wrapped up, let me give you a tour of the build. All right, here's the build in all of its glory. It kind of looks like the front door is unfinished. It's not. That door just has a white outline. You might have noticed that I built it from this direction. That's just because the lighting's better, but the actual front of the lot is this way. Here's my lovely landscaping for my lovely tree. Look at it at night. It's got some fun lights. Then the little alien flowers I was talking about. All right, I switched to live mode so that I could throw away the junk and turn on all the lights. Unfortunately, that means we have to deal with rain, but you already saw the outside, so it's okay. Here's the sunken living room. Even the toddler can get down there, which is pretty cool. I was kind of worried because of the stairs, or rather the platforms that are acting like stairs, but she can get down no problem. And then see, there's the fence I was talking about, miraculously not glitched right now. A win is a win. Here's the kitchen. I like the little nail cutter on the wall. Then through here's the bathroom. Kind of bland. I don't usually go for this many browns in a color scheme, but it was the best I could do with a combo of Queen Anne, bathroom, and warm tones. Then through here's the dad's room. I think it looks so regal and elegant. I really am quite happy with it, especially this little cluttered nightstand. Adorable. We got bookcases to the asbestos roof, our little reading nook, and I'm really surprised at how well the high school years dresser matches everything else in this room. That's not really high school years' vibe, but like that color is spot on. And last but not least, the toddler room. This has a lot of things I'm really happy with. For one, the decal on the wall, all of that is like individual pieces that I put together like a jigsaw puzzle, and I usually don't bother. It's pretty cute. Got a little toy corner here with my favorite little yarn guys, and this absolutely ridiculously ornate toddler canopy bed. It looks so tall. I think it's partially because I'm just zoomed out really far, and then partially because I think we're on medium wall height. So it's a little exaggerated, but I like it. We have a little desk area, some stuff for the toddler when she grows up into a kid. She'll have a nice home. Then before we leave, I want to show you Roxie's build. Now, I don't have the Star Wars pack, the perfect patio stuff pack, or the Desert Luxe kit, so it's gonna be missing some stuff, and I think it's gonna be most notable in the kitchen, but we can still take a look. She built this in Chestnut Ridge, I believe. I think on this lot. So here we go. Her challenge was to build an A-frame with cool tone colors that had 2 floors and 8 rooms. Her budget was 33,772 simoleons and needed to house 3 Sims. Her disadvantage was that she had to build it all in a bird's eye view, but that was like really challenging. That's such a hard disadvantage. So we made the argument that birds fly all around. So any view is a bird's eye view, if you really think about it. Anyway, you can see that she went with this slate gray color, and I love this cutout she did. They call it a sky roof? That feels not right. Skylight. I can't believe I just forgot the word for skylight. And then she did a lot of plants like up and down the sides here. I love a good plant, especially a good cluttered plant. Really brings a lot of life into a build. Then we'll start with the front here. So it looks like the game has replaced some of the stuff from the pack she used with stuff from base game, but some of it just doesn't have any replacement. There's supposed to be a bunch of storage containers here, I believe, from the Star Wars pack, but again, don't have that, and apparently there's nothing like it in base game. But just imagine that. Then we got some cool plants on the wall, some more clutter over here. I really like the bathroom. She combined the eco lifestyle stuff with the werewolf's mirror, which I think is a really cool look. Plus, oh, I love this. She used one of the standing showers in conjunction with the bathtub. Doesn't that look so cool? Unfortunately, it's not functional, but visually it looks really appealing. I think it's a great choice. Then in here we have the living room. Now, Roxie had a smaller budget than I did while simultaneously needing to make a much bigger house, so she used a lot of the eco lifestyle debug, like this TV, like this dining room set, and even a lot of these hanging shelves are pretty cheap, but I think she used them really well. And then upstairs we have the bedroom. I love this bed. Apparently it's an unlock behind the painter career. I did not know that. It looks so cool. I'm gonna have to use it in future builds. You have to use a cheat to get it if you're not in the painter career, but that's totally doable. Got some paintings on the wall. A lot of paintings, actually. And then this cute little balcony for the artist to paint some more. I'm not sure if it exactly totals up to 8 rooms. I made the argument that the rooms under the roofs should count, because we were streaming for like 3 hours, and honestly, this is a lot of progress to make in 3 hours, but her challenge was hard. I think it fits the spirit of the theme, and I think it's a very cool build. So again, that's RoxieRahwr on the gallery. Her channel and Twitch are also called RoxieRahwr, but they're spelled differently, but all of this info will be in the description. Please go check her out. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for everyone who came to the stream. It was a really fun time. And as you may have noticed, this is also the debut of my VTuber. I'm still kind of getting used to the facial expressions that I need to make in order for her to have the facial expression that I want. Apologies if things look a little unnatural here or there, but overall, I think she's adorable, and I'm so happy to finally have a VTuber. I'll see you later, and as always, have a lovely day. Bye!